Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2021 Bioinnovation Conference. Please welcome the Chair of the Maryland Life Sciences and Senior Vice President of Business Development for Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation, Brad Stewart.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here, not only in person but online. We're very thankful to have you here with us. And I'm very happy to welcome you to the Maryland Life Sciences Bioinnovation Conference. So this is a work of effort and passion by a group of people who spent a very long time trying to pull together information that we hope you find compelling, interesting, and helpful for everything that you do. And we want to thank you all for being here. So we'll have about 200 of us here in person, and we hope to have probably several thousand people watching us as we go through this conference, and hundreds of more people online participating. But I'll tell you a little bit about the conference and about what's going to happen here today, just to get you ready to go. As they mentioned, I'm with the Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation, where we're located right now. We'd like to welcome all of you here to Montgomery County, to the Bethesda Country Club. And for everyone who's here, if there's anything we can do to help you grow your businesses, or for anyone who's not here, who'd like to be here, anything we can do to help you come here and grow your business, we're happy to do so. So I'm a very fortunate person to have been involved with the Maryland Tech Council for an incredibly long time now, and seen this organization do amazing things for the people in this room and the people who are watching online. We're very thankful for the organization, thankful for Marty Rosendale, who's the CEO of the Maryland Tech Council. He'll talk to you in a few minutes. But it really is a special organization that is doing tremendous work to make sure the biotechnology industry here in Maryland is really what we need to thrive. Not only to help you, the owners and participants in life sciences businesses here thrive, but to do everything possible to make sure that you have the tools necessary to ensure the patients you serve have hope, have opportunities, and that's what really we're here for. So we want to encourage all of you, if you're not already a member of the Maryland Tech Council, to join, and I'll talk a little bit in a minute about that. So a little bit about the conference itself. As I said, this is a production of about a year's worth of work from a variety of different people. I'd like to note some of those people now, in some cases to embarrass them because they don't like publicity, but that's fine. They still deserve the recognition they well deserve. Michelle Ferrone, who's our fearless Chief Operating Officer for the Maryland Tech Council. Wendy Worm, who has almost single-handedly been responsible for helping to pull this conference together and works to keep all of us on track and focused on that. Angela Hong-Minivan, who's here, who does all of the graphics work for us, and so all the beautiful things you see are the responsibility and work product of her. Min Nguyen, who keeps us on track from a technical perspective. Joy Hoffman, so if you get a chance to meet Joy, Joy is the person who helps to manage our Venture Mentoring Service program, which is an incredibly special program the Maryland Tech Council has been involved with for the last 6 years, helping to mentor companies here in the Maryland area in the life sciences and technology spaces, helping them to raise capital, learn how to write business plans, helping them to get ready to grow. In the past 6 years, that program has helped those companies raise over $120 million in capital, which is a spectacular result, and I think one that we all should be proud of, especially Marty, who's been instrumental in leading that program. About 50% of those businesses are minority-led organizations, and so we're incredibly fortunate and lucky we're able to help support everyone here in our community be successful. One other person to mention, I haven't seen Pam Lubell yet this morning, but if you have a chance to meet Pam, I said earlier that it's important for those of you who have the opportunity to join the Maryland Tech Council. Pam's the person to talk to. She'll be happy to help. A few other people that you can talk to, Brad Fackler, Steve Pennington. Great opportunity to understand what the Maryland Tech Council does and how you can become a part of it. So, some stats for the conference. There are over 500 life sciences and business professionals that will be attending the conference, both in person and online. There are, as I mentioned before, approximately 200 people here at the Bethesda Country Club, which was the capacity we had limitation today. We have an incredible lineup of people who are here to speak to you, share their thoughts, their experience, listen to your questions, and hopefully participate in helping you on your journey. Today we'll have Gary Disbrow, who's the head of BARDA, and Sally Elaine, who's the head of the Washington J Labs, will be interviewing him. Melinda Seville, who's the Director of Research and Development for CEPI, the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness and Innovations. Tomorrow morning, we have Dr. David Agus, who's the CEO of the Larry Ellison Institute for Transformative Medicine at the University of Southern California. He's also a cancer specialist, a renowned author, and the chief medical correspondent for CBS News. We have 41 top-notch panelists, 3 fireside chats, and 8 sessions that we'll have over the next 2 days. More importantly, online, there's the Bio One-on-One Partnering Platform, which is really the opportunity for all of you to connect with each other. We hope that you'll take the opportunity to log in, set up your profile. Wednesday's a day dedicated for meetings so that each of you can get to know each other, hopefully do business with each other, hopefully help each other succeed here in the state of Maryland or around the world where you're located. And so for those of you who've used the Bio platform at any of the Bio conferences, it's the exact same one. If you've used it before, your profile is already in there, so it's easy enough for you to do. So a couple of important housekeeping notes that I'll share with you. So when you're tweeting about the conference or sharing it on social media, there's a hashtag for you to use. It's hashtag MDLS Bioinnovation. So we'd appreciate if you'd use that. You can see it on the screen here. Additionally, there's free Wi-Fi for everyone. This is usually the most important thing that people want to know. The username BCC_guest and password BCC wireless. So we also want all of you to be able to visit our virtual exhibit hall. We have the opportunity to meet our exhibitors, learn about what they do. Some incredible people and companies that are here to help your businesses succeed. Additionally, don't forget to get your t-shirt. If you didn't get one at registration, we'd like to thank Shear Partners. And I haven't seen Henry Bernstein yet today, but if you get the chance to meet Henry and thank him, he's a wonderful person. And if you're looking for a place to house your business here in Montgomery County, Henry's the person who can help with that. Last but not least, and certainly most importantly, at 4 o'clock tonight, we have a networking reception where there will be drinks. And I believe the opportunity to enjoy the sunshine outside and actually get to interact with human beings in 3 dimensions, which is something most of us have missed and will look forward to. So now it's my great pleasure to introduce our first speaker of the day. And, you know, Secretary Kelly Schultz, who's the Secretary of the Department of Commerce for the state of Maryland, is an incredible person, an incredible supporter of this industry. This is usually the part where I read you a bio. And you all sort to nod off before Kelly gets the chance to wake you back up. I'm not going to do that, though, because her bio is in your program for you. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Kelly from my own experience. She's a remarkable person who we're very fortunate to have as the Secretary of Commerce here in the state of Maryland. She's a longtime ardent supporter of the state of Maryland, went to Hood College. She's a person who is appropriate to run commerce because she's actually owned and run a business and understands what it's like to deal with the things that we all have to deal with. And even more importantly, prior to coming to be the Secretary of Commerce, she was the Secretary of the Department of Labor and has had a truly and remarkable impact on the state of Maryland. I can tell you that I work with Secretary Schultz's team every single day on projects, and they're an incredible resource, a wonderful group of people to work for, and I think a true reflection of the work ethic that Secretary Schultz sets and her desire to welcome people to the state of Maryland and to help those who are here to be successful, whether or not they're doing business here in Maryland or, as an example, my last companies around the world. So with that, I'd like to thank Secretary Schultz and welcome her to the stage.
Thank you so much. That's a really nice way to start my Monday. So thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm really sorry that I'm not there in person. I hope to be in person again very, very soon. And to everybody that is there and everybody that is on virtual like I am, just thank you for being able to get up this Monday morning and being able to support one of the finest industries that the state of Maryland has. There is an existing exciting lineup of speakers and panel discussions that are scheduled for the next 2 days. And I want to thank Marty. So many of you know Marty very well, and just so pleased what he's been able to do with the Maryland Tech Council and all the partners and the sponsors for putting this event together, because it's about time that we stand tall and we speak loudly about what the biohealth cluster, what we can do, what we have done in the state of Maryland, and not only in the state of Maryland, but in the nation, in the region as well, and across the globe. So it's from our private companies, like we had talked about, to the government laboratories. It's been so clear in this past 2 years, all of the resources that we have that we can pronounce and we can put forward and we can applaud. We were all tested, some of us more than others, by this pandemic, and we showed great strength and resolve. So thank you for that. And while the fight against this virus continues, there have been many, many victories. Dozens of Maryland companies secured billions of dollars in federal funding to develop vaccines, tests, and therapeutics for COVID-19. This is a testament not only to the strength of our assets and our people, but to our culture of innovation and discovery. We say culture because we know that the life sciences, information technologies, cybersecurity, advanced manufacturing, and all of the other disciplines don't exist independently of each other. Advances in one field often spur innovation in other fields, and we must always search for links and connections. One of today's panel discussions is organized by Commerce's Director of Biohealth and Life Sciences. Hopefully you all know her. She's Uliana Desiderio, and features members of a joint task force organized by the Maryland Life Science Advisory Board and the Maryland Tech Council. They'll be discussing the wide range of career opportunities in the life sciences industry that exist today and celebrate examples of industry-academia partnerships that feed the growth of this important sector for Maryland. You will hear that many of these jobs, surprisingly, do not require an advanced degree, going back to my labor days. We're still fighting a misconception that a job in the life sciences requires years of study and research training. But the increasing need for people who can code or operate specialized equipment means more entry and mid-level entry into those opportunities. You don't need a lab coat or an advanced degree to have a rewarding career in biotech. The opportunities are there, and the life sciences industry in our state and the region is growing. The region also has a robust supply of talent that can meet the growing demand. But the challenge is getting the two together, engaging this talent to build interest in life science careers and developing a strong talent pipeline. That will be, I'm sure, a fascinating discussion. And joining Uliana will be representatives from Johnson & Johnson Innovation, GlaxoSmithKline, AstraZeneca, and Kite Pharma. As Maryland takes on these and many other challenges, we should feel confident. It's been a long and difficult journey through this pandemic, but we've done well. I dare say we've done very well. We hoped COVID would be farther behind us by now, but Maryland has one of the highest vaccination rates in the country and one of the lowest rates of per capita COVID cases for all 50 states. Our economy is poised for continued growth and prosperity. The most recent jobs data showed Maryland gaining nearly 12,000 jobs in August. Our private sector grew at the fourth fastest rate in the country. Our unemployment rate dropped to 5.9%, down from a pandemic high of 10.1%. Maryland remains committed to supporting our life sciences sector and to our shared goal making the Capital Region a top three bio hub of 2023. We know that advances and discoveries in one sector can move other industries forward, and what drives innovation in Maryland, DC, and Virginia drives growth for our entire region and indeed the nation. We are all moving forward together, so I want to thank you, each and every one of you, for being a part of that growth and for being a part of this conference. And I certainly hope you have a wonderful, wonderful experience. Thank you.
Please welcome the CEO of Maryland Life Sciences, Marty Rosendale.
Well, thank you. Well, Secretary Schultz, thank you so much for your time this morning. Really appreciate what you and your team have done. At the risk of repeating what Brad already said, you've got an amazing team. I know how much you value entrepreneurship and innovation, so thank you so much for all that you do. Good morning, everybody. As you've heard, I'm Marty Rosendale. I'm the CEO of the Maryland Tech Council. No matter how you're joining us today, whether in person, virtually, or from overseas, we're excited to safely bring our community back together again. This year's conference is the first and only fully integrated event featuring in-person and virtual experiences for our region's life sciences community. And I know Brad already talked about the staff that put this together and the amazing job that they've done. If you don't realize it already, putting together a conference like this that is both virtual and in person is the equivalent of putting together two conferences with the added complexity of the interface between the two. If you get a chance and you take a peek through those curtains, you'll see how big of a production it is in order to make this conference both in person and virtual. So as you heard from Brad this morning, we've got a packed schedule. We've got 2 days of globally recognized speakers and panels discussing vaccine development, health equity, cell and gene therapy, biomanufacturing, workforce and career development, and much more. And all of Wednesday is dedicated to the virtual Bio One-on-One partnering system. There are so many people to thank this morning. So first of all, I want to thank all of you for showing up. I want to thank you for everything that you've done throughout the pandemic. I want to thank you for being vaccinated so you could show up in person. And I want to thank everybody who's joined us virtually for participating as well. I also need to acknowledge some key players. So Brad talked about what it took in order to put this conference together. We had two co-chairs this year, Brad Stewart and Stephen Walker. I want to thank both of them for leading the effort, and I want to thank all of the committee members, and you'll find their names on page 32 of the program book. I want to thank all of our committee members for the hours of Zoom meetings and phone calls that it took in order to make this happen. Now I'd like to give a special thanks to all of our sponsors who make this possible. Our biomanufacturing industry sponsor, Kite, a Gilead company, and Emergent Biosolutions. Our cell and gene therapy industry sponsor is MaxCyte. The vaccines and immunotherapy industry sponsors are Novavax, GSK, and AstraZeneca. Our presenting sponsors are Avantor, the Maryland Department of Commerce, Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation, and Pharma. And our giveaway sponsor is Shear Partners. Our gold sponsors include Alexandria Real Estate, Boston Properties, Facility Logics, Horizon Therapeutics, and Slalom. Our supporting sponsors are Johnson & Johnson Innovation, J-Labs at Washington, D.C., and the Blue Knight collaboration between J-Labs and BARDA, and the Bioinnovation Organization. And the virtual international trade delegation, and I should mention this is an international conference, is our East Midlands, UK, and JETRO, New York, the Japan External Trade Organization. So in the year since last we gathered as an industry, we've all been tested, either individually, our companies, the state, or the nation. The global response to COVID-19 has been spearheaded by Maryland companies that are literally saving millions of lives. Nearly 40 Maryland companies joined the global response, developing or manufacturing vaccines, diagnostic tests, or providing clinical research and support or technological solutions and services to respond to the pandemic. The pandemic reinforced for us how important a robust biomanufacturing infrastructure is to innovation and public health. Maryland has an established and respected biomanufacturing presence that serves as the tip of the nation's spear for biodefense and pandemic response. But the story of Maryland's life sciences doesn't begin and end with COVID-19. Thanks to the contributions of all of you, the men and women of this industry, and the many who have come before us, Maryland stands at the forefront of the national life sciences economy. Our 2,700 life sciences firms and 74 federal labs and research universities are engines of entrepreneurial drive and technological breakthroughs. Maryland is also the foundation of the BioCapital region, which ranks 4th today in the nation for biopharma clusters. But we'd be doing ourselves a disservice if we simply rested on these laurels. The life sciences industry is nothing if not disruptive. We press our advantages, but we relish the opportunity to get better. And that's precisely what the Maryland Tech Council has been working on. Earlier this year, we commissioned the Milken Institute Center for Regional Economics to conduct a far-reaching review of Maryland's life sciences ecosystem. From our workforce development and business startup assets to our venture capital and R&D capabilities. We asked them to be thorough, to shoot straight, and not to pull any punches. And that's exactly what they've done. The Milken Institute shared the final report with me just days ago, and I'd like to share those findings with you now. So the Milken Institute reaffirmed our strengths. Maryland's life sciences industry has a substantial footprint, directly employing over 54,000 people across a wide range of jobs in R&D, manufacturing, and laboratories, and this number is continuing to grow. Of special note is that our life sciences manufacturing sector expanded at one of the fastest rates nationwide, enjoying more than 30% growth from 2015 to 2020. That's faster than California, Massachusetts, New Jersey, North Carolina, or Virginia. This phenomenal growth is a testament to Maryland's cell and gene therapy companies, which are fueling the most advanced scientific research and technology development in the field anywhere in the world. And they've been doing it in Maryland for decades, dating all the way back to the Human Genome Project. But as the Milken Report notes, this incredible success across a variety of fields creates its own challenges, building a robust workforce development pipeline to meet our industry's hiring demands. The fact is that distribution of life sciences employment across the state remains relatively concentrated along the I-270 and Baltimore-Washington corridors. But interestingly, the manufacturing infrastructure in this state are in the counties peripheral to that. And as we see the biomanufacturing industry build, we're also seeing it move out into those peripheral counties. Maryland's life sciences manufacturing and laboratories show significant potential for further expansion. And the state's existing policy architecture provides a foundation for state leaders to develop new, collaborative strategies that expand not only the total number of job opportunities, but also their accessibility to state residents everywhere. I want you to pay particular note to that word collaborative because it's going to come up a few times. With many companies in Maryland already at the forefront of biomanufacturing, this presents an opportunity to support the development of training programs and facilities to provide new and current workers with skills they need. This advantage, combined with the current boom in biomanufacturing, presents us with a unique opportunity to support the growth of a skilled workforce to help attract and retain companies in the state. Now, Secretary Schultz mentioned a panel discussion that's going to take place this afternoon that's about the joint collaborative workforce work group that came together. And it's not a surprise that their findings match the findings from the Milken study. The Milken report recommends that Maryland take the following steps. First, collaborate on developing an industry-certified training curriculum that maximizes the number of workers capable of meeting existing industry needs and that prepares prospective employees for occupations with future growth potential. Second, increase the awareness of life sciences careers and opportunities for residents in peripheral counties. We need to get the word out. And support dedicated training programs and facilities for advancing biomanufacturing, especially in the areas of cell and gene therapies. A second area of focus by the Milken Institute was Maryland's entrepreneurial ecosystem. On this front, the results were very clear. We have an opportunity to grow even more, to collaborate to develop the next wave of startups. Historically, Maryland has struggled to develop an entrepreneurial ecosystem to rival our counterparts across the country. A disproportionate share of Maryland's doctoral graduates work in federal labs, more than 26%. That's not necessarily surprising because we have so many federal labs in the region. However, that's compared to 2% in Massachusetts and 3% in California. And often the barriers to commercialization are higher from those federal labs than they are in academia and in industry. The federal R&D investment in Maryland during 2016 totaled $115 billion. But the total technology licensing income was only $179 million. That's a return on investment of about 0.16%. I think my personal banking account does better than that. And Maryland ranked number 18 on the Milken Institute State Technology and Science Index in 2020. For risk capital and entrepreneurial infrastructure, a measure of the state's ability to attract venture capital, investment, patenting, and business formation. That put us behind California, Massachusetts, and even Pennsylvania. And the life sciences industry clusters in Boston, San Francisco, the San Diego, San Francisco Bay Area captured 70% of all the venture capital investment in the industry in 2019. So it's clear that we have a lot of opportunity to expand technology transfer, startups, and build this industry. And I don't think anyone here is surprised by the fact that we need more flex lab space and flex manufacturing space. So how does Maryland grow its base of entrepreneurs and risk capital? The Milken Report offers the following recommendations. Explore matching private funds raised by higher education institutions with public funds to establish technology incubators and provide early-stage companies with greater resources. Our academic institutions are already doing an excellent job developing incubators, putting out startups, assisting those startups. We need to do more, and we need to help them do it. Target the conversion of existing commercial or industrial spaces for use in small-scale modular life sciences manufacturing. Again, we need that flex space. We recently held a small focus group of life science companies in the region, and that was one of the key topics that they brought up. They need manufacturing space. They can't afford to develop their own manufacturing. They can't afford to work with the large CDMOs, but they need flex manufacturing space. Third, capitalize on Maryland's affordability relative to other life science hubs. It's cheaper here. It's more efficient here, and we need to capitalize on that. Above all, a more cohesive strategy among industry, government, academic, and nonprofit leaders, there's that collaboration again, can enhance the life sciences industry's growth trajectory and further solidify Maryland's reputation as life sciences and innovation capital. So I want to thank the Milken Institute for this review and ask Aaron Malas to say a few words about our partnership, how we plan to track the metrics going forward, which is a big part of this project. And also I want to let you know that the report will be available on our website at mdtechcouncil.com. Aaron?
Good morning, everyone. I'm coming to you from Santa Monica, California, where I'm an associate director at the Milken Institute Center for Regional Economics. The Milken Institute, for those that don't know us well, we're a nonprofit, nonpartisan think tank that helps people build meaningful lives. Our team at the Center for Regional Economics, CRE, we're very eager to contribute to this conversation about the future of work in Maryland's life sciences industry, precisely because the state presents such a fascinating mix of assets, challenges, and opportunities, as Marty mentioned. Having recently completed some similar research in partnership with the California Life Sciences Association, we observed many issues in Maryland that are similar and some that are remarkably different. In working with the Tech Council, we sought to produce a report on Maryland that would contribute to a national conversation about the life sciences industry while making sure that the issues Marty was discussing were understood in their proper context at the state and the local level. As the past year and a half have demonstrated, coordinated actions across government, industry, and institutions of higher education are necessary to meet the challenges of the 21st century. This doesn't mean just saving lives, which Maryland's life sciences industry has done with remarkable success. It also means ensuring that all members of our communities have access to quality jobs, as well as the education or training required to pursue those opportunities, and the capital needed to start new businesses, pursue ventures, and generate more technologies that can help save lives. Two issues that Marty mentioned as the focus of our report, growing the workforce on one hand, enhancing the state's entrepreneurial ecosystem on the other, offer some insight into key metrics we're going to continue to consider as we study the evolution of the state's life sciences industry. By increasing the number of Marylanders with the training required to pursue job opportunities in the industry, we believe it will be possible to see the state attract and retain more life sciences firms, particularly startups that come out of the state's premier institutions of higher education. And by increasing the amount of incubator and manufacturing space available to life sciences firms, we believe the state is much more likely to attract additional venture capital investment in firms that have significant growth potential and that will generate more jobs going forward. Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak with you this morning. We look forward to hearing your reactions to the report and to stimulating a great conversation moving forward.
Aaron, thank you. And thank you for the work that you and your team put into this report. And I know it's awfully early in the morning out there, so I appreciate you getting up and joining us. So I want to share with you a couple of initiatives this morning. When I was asked to become the CEO of the Maryland Tech Council, it's been about 3 years ago now, and Michelle Ferrone, our COO, and I were talking about what that meant and where it was headed. She shared with me her vision for life sciences. Michelle has had this long-standing vision of building a biohub in Maryland that rivals what we see in bioclusters in other parts of the country. And today, I want you to know that we are working diligently to launch the Maryland Life Sciences Biohub Maryland Pathways, which is an initiative of that biohub. This go-to center will address the challenges of Maryland's life science workforce, focusing on workforce, talent, and elevating opportunities for more diverse, equitable, and inclusive workforce. A new grant that we've received from the Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation will be used to build, launch, and manage the Biohub Maryland Pathways website, provide training and education resources and events and updates, and support the expansion of resources to grow and maintain the hub as the core digital resource of the industry. Lastly, I ask that we all remember that no life sciences ecosystem operates in a vacuum. States and localities across the U.S. and the world are building new policy frameworks and investing in infrastructure and human capital, all in an effort to woo the same entrepreneurs' capital that Maryland hopes to attract. So when the COVID-19 first hit, something amazing happened in Maryland. We saw our companies, we saw our policymakers, we saw the academic institutions all coming together, all collaborating in response to COVID-19. And it's amazing what we've been able to accomplish through that collaboration. Well, recently, it's begun happening again. If you've been following some of the relief funds that have been coming out of the federal government, the ARPA funds and other sources of funding, there have been a couple of large grant opportunities coming out of the Department of Commerce. One of them is the Build Back Better Regional Challenge. Now, it was interesting when it first came out, we noticed that a few of you were talking among yourselves, and then you were talking with others, and before we knew it, a coalition was forming organically around coming together for a Build Back Better grant. And that coalition is getting stronger and stronger every day. So we are going to be submitting an application for a Build Back Better grant. And I'll tell you, it will be a long shot. There will only be about 20 to 30 of these grants that will be issued across the entire country. But the phase one of that grant is a test of our ability to collaborate and form an effective coalition. We've already demonstrated that we can do that through the pandemic. And again, it's amazing to watch it forming organically now around this grant. Our vision for this grant, if you think about the economic development or the development of a cluster like this, it's not a linear process. It doesn't start with a university that then creates a technology that then is spun out into a company, and that company grows, and that company becomes commercial. That's how you get a company from startup to commercialization. But when you're building a cluster like this, you have to think of it in terms of a flywheel. So today, we have a tremendous workforce need. If we can focus on collaborating with our academic institutions, bringing industry together with academia to address that workforce need, and then address the manufacturing, the flex space that we need, the additional flex lab space and the incubators and the accelerators necessary to produce those new startups, and then that's going to drive more workforce need, takes us right back to the top of that flywheel. And the more we press on that point, the faster and faster that flywheel begins to spin until it has so much momentum we can't stop it. That's what we're going to try to do with our Build Back Better grant. And today I want to ask all of you, if you're interested in supporting that effort, see Michelle Ferrone, give us your card, let us know that you're interested, and we will add you to the list of supporters for the program. I have no doubt that our community is fully committed to taking Maryland Life Sciences to a new level and making our home state the #1 innovation economy. A place where we save lives, create jobs, and discover the future. We're going to hear a lot about that at the conference this week. I want to thank you again for joining us. It's a pleasure to see you all. I'm going to apologize in advance if I don't recognize you and all I can see is your eyes above your mask, but we all are wearing name badges. So again, thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate it, and thank you for everything that you do.